Hello again, everyone. We are back with another segment of Ask Juliana. And please excuse my beachy background because I am sitting here in Boston freezing my little tush off while it's 50 degrees this week. So I thought I would channel some good energy and some warm sun and palm trees.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive right in with these questions, Juliana, because we have some really fun ones. Um, somebody asked, what's your favorite book besides the Bible, of course?
Ooh, this is fun. I just met with a cousin that I hadn't seen since I was like 10.
Oh, yes, I saw this
We
on
couldn't,
your
we
feed.
couldn't
Yes.
actually figure out what age that was. It was just really interesting seeing like what memories we captured, and we had to guesstimate when that time was. But anyway, he was sharing how he loves kind of escaping into fantasy, and that sort of thing to just take his mind off of his world. And I'm like, I'm not that person. Like I am
I'm not
somebody,
either.
even with movies, I am somebody that if it's like a based on a true story or like some sort of true to life thing, that is me. I think my first ever faves were Chicken Soup for the Soul, so I'm always in for a good
Oh, yes,
humming
that was a
journey.
while back.
And there's snippets, so I do love that. And I also love some really weird book titles. Two of my favorites are Who Will Cry When You Die?
Oh, yes, you've told me
Yep.
about that
And The
one.
Leader Who Had No Title. I feel like those just kind of like
They resonate.
summarize my mission, my kind of life right there. So they're deep. Like I don't think that there's anything that's just light around what I do. Like everything is light, but I go deep,
Yes,
what I
yes.
do. Mhm.
Well, I know there's a lot of people in Courage Co that would cry if God forbid you died. So let's not dwell on that.
That wasn't like, well, the premise is actually contemplate that a little bit so you live with purpose every day.
Of course, but I'm just letting you know that we would, yes, it would be felt here for sure, as well as in other places in your life, I'm sure.
Yes.
Um, Another fun one is what is something that people misunderstand about you?
Ah,
Like I see you as a certain person, but then like
yeah.
when I met you in person, like you were this whole different person, and not in a bad way, just like you were shorter than I pictured. Like we all have these like
Uh-huh.
ideas around each other.
Yeah.
So what's something that people would misunderstand about you?
I think something that I've gotten like just over the years, there's been this consistent sort of thread or theme that people misunderstand is the joy is misconstrued for being naive almost or being I wouldn't say immature, but like, oh,
Like
like nothing
inexperienced.
must have happened to you, easy for you to say. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like a
Yes,
sort of a thing, but they
yes.
they don't recognize that joy usually comes from not having anything to be joyful
Trial.
about. Yes.
I can attest.
Right. Or that that's just personality. And there is some truth to that. But I do think that there's been always this determination to find the good because it is a thriving strategy. But that's
Yes,
been true in
definitely. It's
any
a
season. But that's often look like, oh, you're just naive or you've had no experience or wait until life hits you like that kind of thing. And I'm like, whoa.
And you're
But
like, dude, life hit me at 10. Calm yourself.
yes, like it's not like Pollyanna or this like sometimes people think that if you show up with a certain demeanor, then you're only taking a positive stint on things. Like you're not
Right.
actually
You don't see
being
the bad.
yes. And
Yes.
so I feel like that's really interesting, but that's often one that I get a lot.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big deal.
Yeah.
So let's see. I would say, because I feel like I've known you a good long time now at this point. Um, What do you do? Because you're always, coaching us on, what do you do when and anxiety creeps in? But what do you personally do when anxiety creeps in? Like when we're not on the calls and we're not in the positive demeanor.
Yeah, totally. Well, so to me, it's way different now than it's been in different seasons. Now it is I would say at first, like the first layer of it is a gentle recognition. Like
Mhm.
I'm acknowledging this. I'm aware of this. Maybe I don't know how to address it yet, or even I don't know if I have the space in this moment to sit with it, but I'm aware and I'm seeing there's a need there. So I'm like, by the gentle recognition, I'm making space for it already, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And then I always see it as an invitation to draw closer to God. So that's how I shift it. Like, this is not something that the Lord is anxious about. This is not something that he has any sort of reservations about or that he's intimidated by in any sort of way. Like, there's no surprise to him. So, like, if
Hmm.
I just like draw close, I'm sure there's going to be a great exchange happens where I can let go of the anxiety, where I can let go of the fear, where I can let go of the wrong perception, the wrong way of viewing this thing, and he will give me the right perspective or the wisdom or the strength or like the extra measure of grace, whatever it is. So
Hmm.
those are two things. I'm like, okay, this is not wrong. This is not bad. I'm not going to make it mean something that it's not. I'm not going to give it a
Right.
label that's
The
not
story
healthy. Like,
around
you're
it.
missing it. It's not working. Like, I'm not going to like fuel the anxiety and like add more to the fire, right? But
Yes.
I'm going to be like, ooh, yeah, like that's tender or that's holy. That's worthy of my attention. That's worthy of some care. And I know that I can't care for it properly. So let me
Right.
go to the one who can. Like, let me just draw close. And I shared about this recently. It's not in a way where it's like you have to do some like crazy spiritual disciplines and like really um make this religious, where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, I got to journal for 45 minutes, or I have to like study this book in the Bible, or I have to
Yeah.
like worship for 2 hours and then I'll finally be worthy of drawing close. I'm like, nah, like just that. Like get all of that out of the way and just be like, it hurts. It's tender. I'm anxious about this. I'm intimidated by this thing. I'm afraid, right? Like, and I
Mhm.
can't be strong and courageous unless you help me,
Yes.
right? So it's,
Yes.
I need you. Okay, just come close because when you draw near to him, he comes close to you, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I need that happening.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Very different than
Um,
how I used to roll, but like
oh
that's
yeah,
more so how it
yeah.
is now.
I'm in the learning process on that one. So, yeah. Okay. What would you say that is a go to reset? You know how like you talk to us about like, oh, if you're feeling it all, like put some praise music on, like get out of the space that you're in mentally. What would you say is your go to way to reset when you are burned out or tired or exhausted or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, I think I love throwing up some energetic boundaries. I joke that like so many people talk about like physical boundaries or communication boundaries, but I have boundaries for my mental, emotional capacities, also my heart capacity and what it can carry and what it can process. Because if you just think about any given day, like the level of thoughts your brain is processing, emotionally, what you're navigating, and even what you carry not just for yourself, but for other people that you're blessed to know or do life with. Like there's a lot that you're just going to be working through all the time. So for me, it's different depending on where it's heaviest, right?
Oh,
So if it's mental, I usually move because
mhm.
getting in your body is the quickest way to get out of your head. So
Right.
I usually move. I love prayer walking. I'll run. I'll do cross training. So you have to focus. Like you can't like to me, you can't
Yeah, you'll
cross
trip over yourself.
and
Right.
be in your
Exactly.
brain. Like you have to like literally like channel your focus. And so that
Yeah.
habit over time teaches you to just discipline your focus.
Hmm.
A lot of times mentally, it's things don't go the way you had in mind. That's usually our biggest mental challenges. They just don't look like what you thought,
Expectations.
right? And that's all mental, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm just going to discipline my mindset. So that's mental. If it's emotional, I usually need to go inward more, right? So I need to, music is great. So hearing worship music is great. Journaling does work for me. Took me a minute to develop that, but it does work for me. Uh,
Taking me a minute too.
yep, going to my wonderful counselor, like I literally go to God, like he's my coach and like he's my counselor, and we like talk it out. It's kind of like a call
I
and
wasn't sure if that was a place. I was like,
yeah,
wait,
it's like a
what
call
am
and
I missing?
response. Yeah. And then with my heart, I ask the Lord to show me my heart. And then I start to figure out like what are the things that I need, right? So those could be very practical. It might be like friend time. It might be you do need like a massage because you've been storing up stuff in your body. Like it could be very practical, but I ask because I don't always know. right?
Right.
So it changes, but what I've worked on developing is like a whole list of things that I need so that
Mhm.
I can communicate those other people. Sometimes I just need quiet, which is
Yeah.
interesting to most people, but I'm like, I just need like no noise.
Mhm.
Um, Other times it's like, no, full praise party. Those are different. Those are
Honey,
different
I've
ends
been
of the
having the praise
spectrum. Like you
party.
need to just dance it out or you need to
Yeah.
celebrate in advance of something. So I usually have to at least have some sort of sensitivity to what I need. And the Lord is great and kind of being like, hey, this is what's going on. So sometimes I do have to talk it out because my biggest thing would be avoiding the feeling or avoiding the stillness or avoiding that. So I usually have to discipline those things more so
Yeah.
than move.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure you do.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's see if we have any more. This is all right. Coach,
Ooh.
coach, you're a coach. Asking a coach what the best advice you've ever received is probably the question of all questions.
Well, I mean, it's been said in so many different ways, but you can't impart, right? Or you can't minister, or you can't give what you don't live, like what you personally haven't overcome, what you personally haven't broken through, what you personally haven't received the revelation of and fully embodied in your life. Like you can't give what you're not. You can't offer what you don't carry and what you don't steward.
Right.
And I think that that's just a really gentle reminder to folks too. Like we live in like a copy paste culture.
Yes,
And I'm
we
like,
did.
that's actually kind of dangerous because you don't have the grace for what you're pasting if you're copying it. So this is just a really tricky thing. Like there's wisdom that you can drop, right? But there's also wisdom that you can live. And I
Hmm.
think to me, that's the greatest advice, right? Like you truly have to live it before you can give it. And so that's where the oxygen mask is the perfect example of this. Like
Yes.
you have to care for yourself, you do have to grow, right? And this is in all aspects. Like nobody is responsible for your mind. Nobody's responsible for you processing your emotions. Nobody's responsible for your behavior. Like that's on you.
Every
Right? So becoming responsible and mature is on us. But that's truly instead of all the go into all the world and change it, like change your world, right? If the kingdom is not in you, it will not come out of you.
Right. And I've seen that in moments of my own
Yeah.
life for the last couple of years where I've struggled. So that I think like I just did the best I could with what I had at the moment and it wasn't pretty.
Yes. Well, and let that be something that motivates, right?
Oh,
It's
it definitely was
okay.
motivating.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. It was
Right.
like we talk about the movie playing in your mind. I'm like, oh, that was so bad.
Yes. Yes. But it's actually kind of to earlier, right? Like if you can go to those places without the shame and condemnation attached to it, right? Like it's good to actually get into pity, okay? And
Mhm.
some of the petty before you can be powerful,
Right.
right? Because it's
Right.
that's part of the process of recognizing where you're not powerful, which is God's mercy, okay?
Right.
So that you can lean into his power to change those things. So
Right.
if you don't look at it, if you don't feel it, then you don't get the grace to deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it's
good.
definitely challenging. Well, these were such great questions, and I'm so happy that we get to do this together. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to Ask Juliana. Be sure to submit your questions for our next one.